Multi-GPU and Vulkan is a thing, thanks to Stranger Brigade. Alright, so the long and short of it is, if you want to see a full breakdown of graphics card performance with Stranger Brigade, the guys over at Hardware Unboxed did an absolutely wonderful job of doing this with a multitude of video cards. But what we're testing here today was specifically touted in the 18.8.2 graphics driver from Radeon. And what we're talking about specifically is multi-GPU in Vulkan. Yes, more than one graphics card usable in the Vulkan API. See, Stranger Brigade shipped with DX12 or Vulkan as the option for your API. So one of the things that the guys over at Hardware Unboxed looked at was Vulkan and DX12 performance, and found that, often the GeForce cards perform better under DX12, while the Radeon cards tended to perform better under Vulkan at times. But what we wanted to do today was specifically look at multi-GPU. We tested Vega, and we tested the 1080 and 1070, and then another card that you probably saw on the thumbnail if you clicked on that is just to see how the scaling was. Now, what we don't want you to do is take this as a GeForce versus Radeon thing, because that's not what we're looking at here. What we're looking at is, one, does multi-GPU function with the cards in Vulkan? And if it does, how well does it scale? So what we did was we used the in-game benchmark on our X370 test bench. So using the in-game benchmark along with our X370 X-Power Gaming Titanium motherboard, Ryzen 7 1700 at 4 GHz with 16 gigs of DDR4 3200 MHz RAM. Looking at the Vega results, we see the Vega 56 right about the 53 FPS average mark that the AMD Radeon website touted, and the Vega 64 liquid cooled using the high performance VBIOS. Now that we figured out the right one in that was kind of interesting. But we see it coming in at 69 FPS. And then, but what if you add them both together? See, that's the thing. And also a fun thing about AMD is, as long as it's the same architecture class, you can multi-GPU those cards. And that will give you a total of 115 FPS average. And the lows, they do still suffer a bit, as always with multi-GPU setups, but the overall experience was pretty impressive. So bring on the 144 Hz 4K monitors. We're getting there. What about GeForce cards, you ask? I can hear it, but truthfully, the 1080 and 1070 did not work together. So like the multi-GPU there didn't allow it. I mean, maybe if I had a couple of 1080s or a couple of 1070s, but either way, these two cards alone or together would not work. But what we did check out was how well an older graphics card like the 295X2 from AMD stood up to these modern powerhouses. And well, quite frankly, it's pretty impressive. You see, the GTX 1080 trailed quite a bit behind the Vega 64 in the test that we ran. However, the 295X2 trumped both of them, at least on averages. It did suffer quite a bit, again, just like what we talked about before, in the 1% and 0.1% lows, as multi-GPUs tend to do. But yes, it does work, and it is rather impressive, especially seeing an older card. I know the 295X2 has 2 GPUs on it, but that's it regardless. At 4K ultra settings, it still held its own. So at the end of the day, multi-GPU still has a ways to go, but it's still impressive to see that they've gotten it working under Vulkan. Perhaps this is a sign of things to come. Well, we'd love to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. This has been Keith with WCCF Tech TV. Make sure you're subscribed so we don't miss you in the next one.